Yeah. Hi, Fernanda. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Everything okay?
Yes,
Perfect. So let's go ahead. Do you have any question from yesterday?
no, Doc.
Actually, I think it was very, well, with a lot of information, I think, but not as hard as we think, right?
Yes, Doc.
So, well, there are so many protocols to give some bad news in that order. And let me share a screen to show you the most important one. That is useful for everything, I tell you by experience. Can you watch my screen?
Yes, Doc, I can.
Perfect. Well, I have this website, yeah, the Google is opened because we have lots of ways of watching the same protocol, the SPIKES protocol. SPIKES is the acronym of this: setting, perception, invitation or information, knowledge, empathy, and summarize or strategies. Okay? Considering this, following this order, it's very easy to go ahead and, of course, give a bad news in a correct way without missing or mixing information. And patients are able to understand what we want to tell them.
Okay.
When you find a patient with cancer, for example, if you follow these acronyms, it's easier. Very, very easy to talk. And well, it's better because you don't miss the opportunity of being in contact with the patient. And don't get with lots of information without a basis. I don't know what happened with this. So, yeah, let's see this one. Let's make upload. It's easy, it's nice. I got in practice with this.
Doc.
Able to give bad news. Try to use this. The setting is one of the most important parts. And well, it's very, very important to choose the correct place, to choose the correct room, to choose the correct moment, not with lots of people, or in medicine, for example, with lots of students around. It's not correct. The setting improves the perception, improving the perception and improving and giving the patient and families talk about the situation. It's easy, very easy to get them, well, the invitation and knowledge. And in that order, it's easy to work on emotions and start therapy when it's necessary. Tell me, have you ever received bad news in that difficult situation? I mean, talking about a disease or a chronic situation, maybe, I don't know, something that it's not easy to handle.
Yes, Doc.
Have you ever read about these protocols?
No, it's the first time.
Okay.
I just improved.
It's helpful, it's useful. And if you think well, usually we don't say we are going to manage this protocol, or in the clinical history, we don't write down what we are going to do. We just do it and follow the steps in order to give the information. We just go ahead, we follow the orders, and we take enough time to do this. We don't measure how many hours we are going to spend with our patient because it's necessary to do it in that way. So we can do it, we can practice. It's for information, but it's important to get it clear. And according to the expressions we were watching yesterday, it might be easier.
Yeah.
Do you remember some expressions of yesterday? Maybe
no.
not. Okay, don't worry. Please check all of them.
Okay.
In order to get in practice, to get used to a good way, in a new way of talking, okay?
Okay.
Well, according to this, I'm sorry. For example, with the bad news you received, I mean, about the knowledge, did you have the chance to be open-minded with your, I don't know, with your doctor, and then get clear what was happening? Or maybe understanding or learning how to handle the situation according to the information you are receiving?
In my case,
Yeah, your personal case. When I received the worst news in my case, I didn't have the chance to be in knowledge and with an open mind situation. So I got confused, more confused than relieved. And I decided to start reading and avoid all of the words that they were telling to me. But in your case, was the same, maybe, because it's like a barrier, like a wall we must try to put between the patient and us. But it's not correct. It's not the correct way of working. In medicine, we try not to get emotionally involved with the patient situation. That's why we do it in that way. But it's not correct, in my opinion. It's not the best way.
Yes.
So if we don't get in knowledge, emotion is not well handled. I remember I started crying and crying a lot without control. And my doctor watched me and said, but you're a doctor, you know what we are talking about? And no, I'm certainly don't know. It was very funny at this moment when I remind this. But when you think about it in that moment, of course, it was not easy to handle, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to send to the group this slide or this picture, just for getting as an information, because, well, it's important to get it clear about it. The spikes, it's a rule of talking. We usually don't have this. It's not easy.
It's
I like
the
this.
first
Well, I like it. Following therapy according to this protocol is very important. Very, very, very important, but we are not used to do it. We are not used to send to therapy a patient because of a bad situation in our culture. I mean, in some other countries, it's part of the protocol to start psychological or behavioral therapy if it's necessary.
Yes, but here is not common to do that.
Yeah. So any question until this point?
No,
About any other topic, maybe?
yeah, about the homework, the case report.
Yeah, yes. I sent you the file, right?
Yes.
Yes, I sent you this afternoon. Well, you can see, let me stop and we are going to check it together. I sent you the file in order to start writing down. And, well, as I was telling you in previous classes, I mean, you finished all the first exercise could be.
Mhm.
And now, this is the one, the general one I prepared for everybody. Can you watch my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. According to this information, write down the case report, the physical exam, because here you have the findings too. And, well, lab test, imagine test, if it's okay, if it's possible. It's not, there's no trouble, you're a vet. So I'm going to consider this, so don't worry.
Okay. Then.
And
It's the
the
same
letter of
case.
reference. I'm sorry?
The laboratory is the same test. The same case. Sure.
Yes, well, you have the value of the patient, and in parentheses, the normal value. Just
Okay.
compare both of them and tell me which one is normal or abnormal, and that's okay. That's enough for me in your case.
Okay. Then.
If with this CT scan, if it's not possible, don't worry, it's not your branch.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so don't worry about it. This homework, I didn't set a deadline. Oops, I'm sorry. Please enter Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay. Then.
So write down in the better way you can do it. You finished everything, so I think it could be easier for you to do this. And always look at the easiest answer. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Any other question, maybe?
No, that's all.
Okay. And finally, finishing the general file I was telling to the group for preparing to the test.
Okay.
I'm taking 1 or 2 questions from each slide presentation, so it's not extremely long. It's possible to make until Monday midnight. But please let me finish with 2 more topics, and that's all. Finally, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much, Fernanda. And see you Monday in the last theoretical class.
See you Monday. Then.
Okay, keep on reading. Bye, Fernanda.
Bye. Then.
Hi, Angelica, how are you? How was your
Hi,
day?
Doug. Good, and you?
I'm fine. I got a flu again. So
Uy,
you can imagine how I feel at this moment, but we have to go ahead.
yes, that's terrible.
Yes, cold and rainy days plus carnival, it happens.
Normally happens in this time.
Yes. All my family is in flu, so we have to take care, and that's all.
Yes, yes. It's the only thing that you can do for now.
Yes. So let me share my screen in order to talk about the protocols. Do you remember yesterday we were talking how to give bad news
Yes.
and lots of expressions? Yesterday I told you that we have one specific protocol to do this. Can you watch my screen?
Yes.
Okay, this protocol is the spikes. Have you ever listened about it?
No.
Yes, perfect. It's no, yeah, no that. The spikes protocol, in my opinion, is one of the most important activities we can develop as doctors.
Okay.
Because we have the chance to give a patient relief in order to organize our ideas using these acronyms. Setting up, starting, perception, invitation, knowledge, emotions, and the strategy and summary. Following this order, which each word, which explanation, it's easier to talk about a situation, I mean.
Yes.
I can find it until it gets possible to read. Give me a minute. Let's open this. When you receive a bad news, we usually by practice learn how to talk about it in an organized way. We usually learn by ourselves, by practicing, by watching, I don't know, professors or superiors, and don't take into consideration in a specific order how to start talking, how to choose a place. Sometimes we make the mistake about talking in front of the students or lots of relatives or something like that. Okay, this is the one. But we have to recognize, we have to admit that we need these specific ways. For example, for setting, we have to choose a private, comfortable, and not threatening setting. I mean, a private room, private place, talking just with our patient and family of the patient, of course.
Yes.
Being in private, of course, it's easier the patient to understand, maybe cry, maybe get mad without being judged, and it's better, right?
Yes.
We have the perception. So we uncover what patient and family think is happening. So they have the opportunity to talk clearly and open-mindedly about the situation. And it's easy to get in contact and to get in a common idea. About the invitation, we have to ask the patient what they would like to know. I mean, of course, as doctors, we know that we don't have the chance to tell everything.
Yes.
We give the whole information from the beginning. It's usually misunderstood by the patients and relatives, by everybody, and you get in trouble. So we have to choose what kind of information or until which point we are going to talk, right? So choosing that limit of talking is easier to get in confidence, easier to make them understand the situation. And of course, we can manage and control all the situation at the moment.
Yes.
About knowledge, the same. We have to explain the disease and care options in plain language. Of course, in words they are going to understand for us, not medical or very technical language. If we do that, we cannot handle this, and it's not a good point of view. We cannot get a good result of this.
Yes.
About emotions, well, we have to emphasize, to feel empathy with the patient. We have to understand they can cry, they can get mad, they can try to run away, everything.
Yes.
But we must understand it's not an easy moment. Have you ever received a bad news?
Yes.
Considering your experience, did you have the chance to live this protocol, to be in experience with this protocol? Because it's international, it's a way of talking that it's handled, it's ruled.
Yes.
Well, we have to follow this.
Yes. In this country, I think that doesn't make that.
In our country, we don't have this kind of culture, but
Yes.
in other places, you have to follow this in order to avoid a legal trouble, maybe, or avoid a violent situation because of the emotions of the patient.
Yes.
That's why it's important to be in a private place.
Yes.
One of the most important parts is the summarize. If we don't summarize and recap and get in contact with the patient, get with empathy, we cannot decide what's the next step. Maybe in a cancer, terminal cancer, how you can explain the patient that there's nothing more to do, but just you have to continue with relief.
Yes.
How you can tell them it's not easy, right?
Yes.
So in that order, let's try to apply this. Let's try to practice on this, to use and not miss the information in order to manage and be under control with all of the situation. That's why it's important, the spikes protocol. First time when I read this, I said that I would like to get it when I was starting like a general practitioner at a hospital, because it's not easy. In emergency room, you don't have enough time to follow all the steps.
Yes.
But you have to find the moment to try to follow all of this information in order to take a fast decision and make the best.
Yes.
But well, I think it's important. Is that clear, that protocol? Is that easy to work with this?
Yes, it's clear.
Well, we have articles of this, of course, about lots of the situation. I think that cancer is one of the most complicated situations to explain. On the other hand, when you lose a delivery, when you lose your baby, it's of course difficult too. They are the same steps, but they also give you expressions, specific expressions to talk about. It depends on the situation. You have to talk and then study how to get into the case, I mean. And as you can see, there's a lot of information about it.
Yes, it's a lot.
So just go ahead, and while you go through the career, you can find and you can start practicing this, and you're gonna see it's a better way to approach, to work with our patients, and to give this information in an appropriate way.
Yes.
Let's try. Let's go. Let's make a difference. Being prepared, being well done. These models in communication are not a rule, but well, when I was in Cuba, the first time I had the chance to give a bad news, I was a student in fourth year.
Okay.
And my professor told me, you're gonna say that you are my resident, avoid the information that you are a student at the moment. Let's go to this patient, and you're going to tell him that the tumor he has in the spine, it's not possible to operate. So he's gonna continue living in pain and without walking. And as time goes ahead, as time goes through, pain is gonna be worse, and of course, movement is gonna be loose. I said, what? How I can tell? Teacher, how can I give that information? Learn You have to practice. It's important. I had a chance to study, to check the medical history, all the CT scan reports and everything. But the moment being with the patient, because relatives were not available at that moment with that situation, they decided not to go. The patient was alone. But there was no possibility, because when we arrived to the patient, he was with a sight with, I don't know how to say that. Tenía una mirada de esperanza única. He was thinking that it was possible to be operated, but when we tell him that it was not a chance, because the surgery would be worse than the situation, of course, he started crying, he got mad, everything ran out of hands.
Yes.
The doctor took control, and that was the first time when I saw how to apply this information and to be in empathy with a patient that is without a solution.
Yes.
The next opportunity, I was still in 4th year with a patient in cancer, terminal cancer. And there was not a way to let her go home. So we had to go to her room with the relatives, of course, everything well dressed for trying not to contaminate her. There was so sad to look at her dying without any solution. Even pain relievers were not useful for her. So how you can handle this if you don't have a protocol, because it's psychological difficult situation, right?
Yes.
So keep on reading about it. And if you have the chance to use this protocol, do it. And you can practice with all of the situation, not just in medicine, I think.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm gonna upload to the group the pictures I was showing you. And then you're going to get a guide, maybe a topic for start reading.
Yes, it's interesting. I think that is very important to take that decisions and how to tell the other person that the situation is really complicated.
Yes, it's very important to know how to do it, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, dear. If there's any question, please send me a message to my WhatsApp.
Okay.
I sent you a file, right?
Yes.
This file, I forgot to write down the deadline. I'm sorry. It's for Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay. Okay,
so
perfect.
write down everything. You have the lab reports with normal values in parentheses.
Yes.
Just tell me which ones are normal or abnormal. That's enough for me, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, if there's any question about it, a message
No
is open for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, my dear Angelica. See you Monday.
See you Monday, though. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. It's nice to
Bye.
see you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. It's raining a lot here.
Oops, here is very cold. So cold that I got a flu again.
Oh, no. I hope you
Yes.
get better.
Thank you so much. I need to become better because it's worse. I sound gangosa. Well, not yesterday we had a long class. Well, not too long. I mean, a class with lots of information, I think. With
Yes.
lots of details to check, expressions or ways of talking. And yesterday, about giving bad news, I was showing to the group some expressions, but I told you about the protocol we must follow. This protocol is not an objective of the course, but I want to teach you, to show you how to use this, the spike protocol. Have you ever listened about it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, the spikes is the protocol for giving bad news, how to handle the situation in order to get better information and get in contact in a good way with the patient. Then we got the possibility to be clear, first of all, to give information, to be empathic, and to decide with the patient how we are going to go ahead. That's why it's important to take it in count. Okay, so let's check the spikes. It's international, all over the world. It's ruled. We must use this in order to explain the situation. So it's easy to start practicing on this. Okay.
Okay.
So let's read this. The S of the spikes, these acronyms, is for setting. We must choose a private, comfortable, and not threatening setting, a place where we can talk to our patient without interruption, without too much people, without the chance for or being interrupted, I mean, for our nurse or students maybe. And then in a private place, a patient has the opportunity to talk in an open mind, in an open way. And we improve the perception about the situation that is going on. About the P, the perception, we have to listen the patient and relatives of the patient, of course, what they understand about everything, what they expect, what they do really want, and one day, and what they think that is gonna happen in this order. When we listen all of the situation, when we listen all of the activities that they think we are going to have with the invitation, oh well, we decide until which point we are going to talk about. As doctors, of course, we know we cannot give all the information, right? You cannot be as open for telling everything to your patients. You cannot explain in a very detailed way because it's gonna be misunderstood, of course. It's gonna be a point of confusion, and there's no possibility to correct this. If you make that huge mistake to give all of the information, it's easy to become in a trouble, maybe loyal trouble, because sometimes it's not well understood information. Because medicine always is the chance for not being completely understood because of the medical or the technical language we use, right? It's like another idiom. If you don't get the correct interpretation or translation of this, everything's going to be wrong. I tell you by experience. So you have to be clear until which point you can talk, and you decide until which point you stop and decide not to talk more because it's not necessary. Getting the I done, you have the chance to go into knowledge. The knowledge, the K, shows you how to explain the disease and care options in plain language of the patient, not yours. Try to look for how to talk to them, how to be in the same level in communication, I mean, and then it's gonna be easier for you to give the information. So when you explain following this until knowledge better, when they understand what is going on, it's normal, very common situation to get with the patient in the emotional situation. They get mad, they start crying, they feel disappointed. It's not easy to see your patient maybe crying or running mad because the bad news are not the ones that they were expecting. So let's try to understand that feelings, that way of receiving the information is important to manage in a private room. That's why you have to be out in communication with the rest of the person, with the rest of the people that you're working with. In order patients to start feeling bad, crying, I don't know, getting crazy, I don't know, there's a lot of ways of feel. You have to be in empathy. Let the patient cry, scream, I don't know, maybe break something that is prepared for that. Well, it depends on the situation, right? And being with empathy, it's easier to get in control, and the patient, it's easier to get in confidence with you. When the patient gets rest, starts catching the situation and understanding what's going to happen, then you summarize. With the summarize, you together, patient and doctor, recap all the information and together decide what's the next step you're going to follow. I mean, when you decide what's going to happen, the result of the treatment is better, tell you by experience. So you have to take it in count, I think, and practice, because here in Bolivia, we are not used to use this kind of protocol, but it's important. So have you ever received a bad news, Natalie?
Yes, I had surgery on Monday because I had two quistes in my right breast. And when I
Okay.
first went to the gynecologist, the doctor was very rude. Like he was, yes, there are two cysts in your breast and it might be cancer later. And I was like, what?
What
And I was
happened?
15, I think, at the time. And I was very nervous. And he was like, no, but right now it isn't cancer, so don't worry. But of course, I was worried because I thought, oh, I'm going to die. But
Yes, information was without a good management, right?
yes, so I think there's people that shouldn't be doctors.
Yes, that's why we get in that concept. They shouldn't be working as doctors, but sometimes they are good professionals, who knows? But the way they talk is for killing them.
Yes.
So you can see, if you follow this protocol, it's international, of course. You have the chance to be in a better contact. And of course, being in empathy, in a good relationship with your patient. And it's going to be easier for you to get a great result of all of the activities that are going to happen. So let's make a difference. Let's try to do this. You are on career, and that's the best moment to start practicing this and show that it's ruled, that it's for working, it's done in a good way, it's prepared for being sure what we are going to do together.
Yes, it's better to follow these rules.
Yes, when you follow this in these other spikes, it's easier. I tell you by experience. When I was a student, the first time I had to give a bad news, I had no idea about this protocol. But my professor, of course, he had. He prepared everything and told me, you are going to explain the situation. What? What happened? How can I do that? No, read the medical report, read everything, and we are going to be with the patient in 1 hour. Okay, I said. I checked all the information, I made the review. There was a patient, a young patient, 40, in his 40s, I'm not sure the age at the moment, but he had a tumor on the spine. And my doctor, the neurosurgeon, my professor, told me that the tumor he had was not possible to be operated, because if we took the tumor, the operation is not going to be a solution. At the moment that we are talking, the patient was in pain and was losing gradually the possibility of walking. So he could walk, but with little pain. If we operated him, he was losing all the capability of walking, but the pain would be continued. So which one is better, operate or not operate? Of course, not operate. We went to him and the doctor started, well, he got the place. We started talking about it. The patient was alone because his family was not able to go to the appointment. Well, the patient decided to do it alone. And we start talking about it, about the diagnosis, about the imaging tests. And when we get into the explanation about the situation and what we are going to do about the care options, he started crying because he was very hopeful on the surgery. When we told him there is no way of operating, it's not a solution for you, this man started crying and crying as a baby. You cannot imagine a man crying like that. And you said, oops, what happened? What did I wrong? My doctor told me, no, it happens. It's normal. Just wait. We have to take empathy with his emotion. Relax. I'm going to handle this. And he calmed down the patient and make the summarize of the situation. And everything goes in a good way that way. Everything was perfect at the moment. So in that situation, in that opportunity, I had the chance to live this protocol, and it's very important to follow this. When I came back here to Bolivia, I started practicing this with patients that were living in cancer, and it was easier, very easier to get in contact and they to accept the situation. So try to read more about it, Natalie, and practice. It's going to be useful for you. I tell you by my complete experience.
Yes, thank you, Doc. I think it will be useful.
Yes, I'm going to send pictures about these acronyms to the group while finishing the workshop. And then you're going to have the chance to read more and practice about it. We are on career, practice on this, and if you consider necessarily, you consider that it's a good idea, start making a difference. It's going to be a good chance for you.
Yes, we have to be better.
Yes, never be like that doctors that are not supposed to be colleagues.
Yes, but I think he's old.
Yes, but being old, they are supposed to be in more practice and to get more ways to give about new. But we can see that it's not always the situation.
Yeah.
Here in Bolivia, I don't know why we have the idea that if we are in a bad treating and teaching way, you are going to learn better. It's a mistake. It's the worst idea I heard always, because it's not the situation. In Cuba, if you get in a bad treating situation, there are two situations: or you really missed information, or you really made an extremely wrong decision, and you need to be in that uncomfortable situation. But it's in private, not in front of your classmates, even patients. Or maybe you left something, because something has to be so big for being in bad treating way.
Okay.
It's not the same, because the first time when I was making my social service for changing my title and everything, I ran mad and I almost kicked the doctor who started yelling at me because I forgot to write down a detail on the clinical history. And I said, what happened to you? And I ran mad with her too. And it was so funny. And other doctor come to me and told me, it's better if you get quiet, don't say anything, just listen. And if you want, we can leave this. No, I'm not going to leave. She has no right to tell me everything. She's not the doctor in charge. What's happening? It was very, very funny for the rest of the people. But when we talked in private, I told him that never nobody treat me like that, in that way, like her. And they told me, okay, this is Bolivia, and Bolivia is different. And I said, no, it has to be different. If she yells at me again, I'm going to start with the same situation. So take it in count, and please don't do that. Of course, nobody listened to that. I was her bunny for everything.
No.
And the rest of the people decided to start bothering me and make bullying and mobbing in similar situations. And I said, okay, I have two options: or make everything great, and they are going to look for a situation for start yelling, or make the things in the way I know how to do it, and they are going to look for the situation or start yelling. And I said, okay, let's get like non-important situation and let them yell. That's enough. I did my best, and the boss had the idea that I was not making a mistake, but they were used to run mad with me, with everything, even with the things I didn't do.
Oh my God.
In Cuba, we have an expression for that kind of situations when you are not responsible, but everything is going to your fault. You have to become a cara de tabla. Yeah. A cara de tabla is being, it's like not taking it in as an important situation. Just forget it, don't take importance, take your notes, and that's enough. I took that behavior and it was funny because nothing matters, nothing happened again. With the time they were forgetting this, and I had to stand this treating way for 6 months. So you can imagine, that was different. When I started working at hospitals, I decided not to do the same. But well, patience. That's why it's a mistake how they think that with bad treating you are going to be better. No. It's not happening in that way. Never be like them.
Yes, that's horrible. I don't know why they like it. I think they feel superior when they scream at you and they see you that you're sad, you're nervous. I don't know. But yes, more of, I think most of my teachers, well, yes, at college, they are like that. There are few people that are good doctors and good people, but the rest, no, they like to yell.
Yes. Just become a cara de tabla. Yeah. That was my advice to my residents when I was here in the military hospital and in another hospital. I had 2 residents and interns that went to my room, my consulting room, and they told me, doctor, nobody yells at you. May I stay here a few minutes, please? What happened? I don't know. They were yelling at me. Okay, stay here, don't worry. There was one doctor, a girl, an intern, that came to my room, my consulting room. She closed the door and started crying and crying and crying. She never told me what happened, but she was devastated.
Oh.
She stood in the internship, I think 2 weeks more, and then she left. She couldn't handle the bad behavior treating.
Wow, yes, those are horrible experience, and it shouldn't be like that because you're studying like 5-6 years to be treated that way. It shouldn't be like that.
Yes, you don't become, well, you are not a robot. You cannot memorize all of the information that we have to get in mind as in the way they want.
Mhm.
They are like spoiled childs.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so patience. Well, dear, let me tell you, I sent you a file, right? Did you receive that?
Yes.
Okay, this is the case report that it's going to be prepared, okay, for practicing.
Okay.
I forgot, I'm sorry, I forgot to write down the deadline. Please, until Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and the rest of the homework of the slides presentations, I'm gonna send it tonight. I'm almost finishing this. So I think 1, 2, 3 topics more to add, and that's all. 2 or 3, I'm not sure at the moment. I'm gonna send it tonight. It's gonna be for Monday. It's gonna be on the file, the deadline.
Okay.
So keep on
Great.
practicing, and well, it's our last workshop.
Yes, I'm going to miss this.
Yes, it's a different moment for talking, right?
Yes.
So dear, let's keep on practicing, and don't worry, we are doing a good job. So let's go ahead.
Thank you, Doc. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night too,
Bye.
and I hope it stops raining.
Yes. Bye, Doc.
Bye bye. Well, at this point, expecting Dr. Pamela. She was not attending lots of activities. Well, let's wait a little bit more. She's still on time. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Hi, Lucia. How are you? Oops, you are without microphone.
yeah.
I cannot hear
Now
you.
I got it. Now I got it. I was saying that I'm fine, and I was asking, how are you?
Okay, that's nice. I got a flu again. As you can see, I'm gangosa.
Oh, no.
Yes, here was raining too much and cold was terrible. So this is the result on me.
Oh, no. It's also raining here, but it's still as hot, I guess. Or I don't know if it's just in my house, but it's still warm.
I invite you a lot, believe me. It's very cold. Now I feel everything cold and sometimes with chills, but we have to go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yes, in
I'm
Carnival.
still
with the
saying that
sun,
you
it
have
was
to get
cool.
out of La Paz and come to Cochabamba or somewhere.
Yes,
warmer.
I think it would be a good idea to change because it's happening too much.
Yes.
My son becomes sick first, and then
Oh,
my babies, and my
no.
baby's getting contagious with me.
Oh,
So
yeah, I can imagine.
I'm the worst at this moment, but it happens. So get on patience.
Yeah.
Well, dear, yesterday we were talking about taking a history. You remember that, right?
Yes. And how to give patient bad news and the treatment, and it
Yes,
was a good guideline.
yes, how to get in accordance with the situation and give information, I think, with lots of expressions and ways of talking, of asking, right?
Yes.
And during the class, I told you that for giving bad news, we have a protocol, an international protocol that it's important to follow and to remember to get in mind. But I didn't mention on the class on the slides because it's not an objective following the textbook we have. So in that way,
Okay.
let me show you this protocol.
Okay.
Have you ever listened to about this, the spikes?
I think I haven't.
Yes, maybe it's a new
Yeah,
topic
it's definitely. Yeah.
at this
It is.
point. But well, you can see on the internet we have lots of information, lots of websites showing us how to get used to this. And we have lots of protocols too, the ABCD. We have very well, many different ways to talk about it. In that order, the most common and in my opinion, one of the useful one is the spikes, because it's the one that I personally use. And I got in good results while talking to this and giving information specifically following these steps.
Okay.
Spikes is an acronym that gives you all the ideas how to do it. Each word has a meaning. Each letter has a meaning. So you have the chance to organize the situation and take control of everything. So that's important to be familiar with this, I think, to be in information and not avoid the chance to make a good job. So let's start reading the spikes protocol. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. The S, of course, is the setting. The setting is one of the most important steps, I think, because by my experience, I tell you, you have to choose a private, comfortable, and not threatening setting, and a space where you and your patient, relatives of the patient, can talk without feeling judged, without feeling uncomfortable, without interruption, and get all the information that is prepared for the moment. Imagine you are receiving a bad diagnosis with a bad prognosis, and all the time people is walking around. Well, it's not correct. How you might feel about it. So let's be on the foots of the patient and try to get this setting as a very, very, very important way of talking. I mean, into the hospital, we have spaces for this. When we go home to the patient, home is not the best place because they remind everything all the time and that getting depression easier. It would be better to go another place or to call the patient to the consulting room. So you have options to do it. And following those options, you must choose the best. When you set a correct place, you have the chance to talk with the patient and relatives and get and catch how informed, how they understand the situation, and leave the open door for uncover what the patient and family think that about the situation. I mean, what is happening. They give you the experience, the knowledge. They explained in their own words how they understand these changes, how they expect it could happen. And that's the point when you decide and you ask the patient and relatives if they are there, until which point they want to talk. Why you decide, you as a doctor know that you cannot give all the information, right? We all know this. We have to take a limit. We have to avoid talking too much, giving too much information about anything, because we can make into not necessarily details that the patient is not going to understand because it's not in the same study level like you.
Yes.
And you are going to get into a very technical way of talking. That medical language, it's not easy for us, worse for patients. And some translations of our expressions, our terminology is misunderstood. So don't give everything. And when you decide until which point you want to talk, then you explain what is happening. Right?
Okay.
You go to the academical level to your patient, of course, and in plain language, the language of the patient, you give all the information that you consider useful. Not going to another details, not adding non-important activities, not important, I don't know, physiological processes maybe. Just talk about what you need to talk. When you explain about the situation, you can start talking about options that have been open doors. Usually patients receive that information and they break in emotions. They can cry, run mad, break things, start yelling, maybe yelling at you, but that's the moment of receiving a bad news. And usually it's a bad news that they are not expecting. So we have to respect it, that moment, be patient and be in empathy. If we don't get in empathy, we make the mistake or start a fight with the patient, and then you can be labeled as rude, and that's what we try to avoid, right?
Yes.
We just understand, listen, keep in confidence. This moment is going to pass away, and then when the patient calms down, you can recap again all the situation for being clear again, and then together, patient and doctor decide what's the next. You couple take the decisions, not only the patient, not only you. You do it by your own if you consider that that's not another choice, but it's not usually happen when you talk about bad news.
Oh, okay.
This protocol applies for almost everything, right? For almost all the clinical situations. In cancer, I used to talk with this in cancer situations with cancer patients.
Mhm.
with non-operatable patients, with trauma patients, with lots of situations. It's very useful. It's one of the easiest.
Mhm.
So you can take it in account. I give you some extra information, but I consider that we have to start being the difference, not being the same, that talking and talking without a focus, without
Mhm.
faith, without being in empathy, because it's not correct. If we were in the shoes of the patient and we were the patients receiving information like that, we are not well. We cannot be happy about it, right? We cannot
Yes.
understand correctly. And that's why I'm trying to show you a new way of doing this important step into medicine, the medical practice, right?
Mhm.
Have you received a bad news at any time?
Yes, many times, but I don't know how to explain them at the moment. But yes, I did.
No, don't worry about the situation. But if you think about that situation, that of course it's not easy to talk about, I understand it. If you think about it, can you tell or can you realize that they use this protocol or this way of talking to you? In my personal experience, I didn't have this chance.
Oh.
So I remember when I received one of the worst news in life, we were in the middle of the pasillo, yeah, of the path.
Oh no.
Lots of people walking around, and I couldn't understand what was going on.
Oh.
I ran mad. I started crying, and my colleague, the doctor who was treating me, is one of my best friends. He just hugged me and told me that everything is gonna be okay. And I said, no, nothing is okay. What's happening to you? Why you tell me this on this place? And well, everything was going wrong.
Oh no.
And then he understood that he made a huge mistake. In that moment, I decided to start working with this and then using this information in order to make a difference by talking. And by experience, when you talk with your patients following these steps, it's easier for the patient to understand the situation, for you couple to get in confidence, and then get a better result of the job with the patient, not alone, of course. That's why
Yeah.
it's important.
Now that I think about it, I think whenever I got like bad news on the hospital, it was like that on the hallway in the pasillo, like you said, and
Yes.
and they don't tell you like let's go somewhere to talk or like a safe space or a safe setting like you mentioned. They just
Yes.
tell you to sit down, and they sit next to you or next to your family, and they start explaining how bad things are, and I don't think they followed any of these steps either.
Yes, they just talk and talk, and they don't matter who's
Yeah.
listening to, even the rest
Yeah.
of the patients, right, in the same room. So it's not easy. Let's do something different. Let's make a difference. You have the chance. You are still on career from this moment. If you have the opportunity, well, you are going to have the opportunity to give bad news. Try to use in that way this protocol.
I will.
Yes, practice on them. Don't worry. It's nice when you learn how to do it. Some professors start ask, when did you learn it? And you said, I read it. I read it, loser. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. And they said, what? Yes, it's an
You should read
international
it.
protocol.
I'm going to send it to you.
Yes, it's interesting. When I had the chance, when I was working in the intensive care unit, I had the chance to use this with lots of patients, of course, for being clear without mixing information, for leading or handling this situation in a correct way. And there was not a chance to get in confusion. So they were totally in accordance with all of the situation that we were living together. So I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it would have made it easier if my bad news were told to me like that, following those steps, than the conventional way we do here. like
Yes.
zero empathy and just talking and talking, and that's it.
Yes, in front of the rest of the people, with lots of students, nurses, and everybody going up and down. And well, always the administratives comes and tells you, "Doctor, may I talk to you?" when you are talking to your patient. It's not correct. Breaking that moment, it's the worst that the rest of the people can do.
Yes. I think
So-
it would be so useful if people would just know how to use this protocol.
Yeah, so start doing this. You are on third when you get on practice in the hospital, during the career, you have the chance. Now you have a light, small light, for start making a difference. Be different always. Don't miss that sight, that view you have at this point, and never stop reading. There's a lot of information that we can apply during our medical career, completely different from the traditional rules we are used to.
No, I'll
So-
definitely do.
Yes, so let's go ahead. At the end of the workshop, I'm gonna send to the group some pictures or maybe an article explaining this protocol. As well, I think it's useful. It's important to get in count. Okay.
And I'm so sorry, my dog is thinks she's talking with you, so she's replying to everything you said.
It's giving her opinion. Don't worry.
Wait, I'm gonna show her to you. There she is.
Oh, she's so nice, a white one.
Yes.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she thinks she's a person. So whenever she hears someone talking on the phone, she thinks she's there in the conversation as well.
It's giving an opinion. Let's listen to her. It's like a kid. That's so nice. Well, Lucy, it's our last workshop.
Yes.
Next workshop is going to be the final test. So keep on patience, go ahead and don't worry. Everything is going to be okay.
And thank you so much for everything you taught us. I find it really helpful. I feel like my English has improved like 100% with this new medical terms and ways of talking, like protocols and all the things you taught us. Like I think I'm ahead of my year now, and that's cool. And thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you for taking attendance, taking attention, working, doing your best effort. And you're you're in the group that is improving so much. And you are on career. That's the best part of this. So go ahead, never miss that light that is opened now, and go ahead. Everything you need, I'm here. You have my phone, and it's a privilege. I don't send my phone to everybody.
Yeah.
Never send it to patients.
That's a good way of working. I think I wouldn't do that either. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful, and I hope we had next chance to do something together.
We're going to have it. Don't worry. It's gonna be a year. I don't know. It's gonna be any opportunity, maybe in a few years, months, days. Who knows? Lives always give some. I don't know how to say that. I forgot it. La vida siempre da vueltas.
Yes.
Our life is a napkin, so don't worry.
Yeah. I hope you get better soon, and so do your kids. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for you. Dear, I sent you a file, right?
Yeah, the homework.
WhatsApp. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I forgot to write down the deadline. Please, this file that it's in your personal WhatsApp is to Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay.
And the next file I'm gonna send to the group is for Monday midnight. I'm gonna send it with the order, with the directions into the.
Okay.
I forgot it while sending this. When I sent it, I said, "Okay, I forgot this detail. We have the work."
Yeah, we have the workshop.
So, see you Monday, my dear, and
Yeah, see you Monday.
anything you need, we can get in contact.
Okay, thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Well, this is the workshop, the last workshop, yeah. And at this moment, now it's the time of Karen, but he's not attending. I think she left. She has the third week out, so I couldn't change it because, well, I decided not to change the schedule because many situations that were happening. Let's stay here until the next student. Next student must be Juliana at 8:30. Let's wait a little bit. I'll be back and I hope she can get into. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, at this point, I have the visit of my children. They are with me now, but well, at this point, Juliana was supposed to attend the workshop. She's still on time, so let's wait a little bit. In that order, let's wait for her, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Bye-bye. Well, Juliana didn't come. So let's wait, Alejandro. It's the moment of Alejandro. Well, I'm sorry, my baby started yelling. I don't know why. But this is Alejandro's time, so let's wait a little bit for him. In that order, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, this is the last workshop, and we only have the chance to speak for the people. So let's have some patience. And well, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Nico, por favor, la llevas. Hi, Alejandro. Oops, you are without microphone. I cannot listen to you. Is everything okay? Do you have the chance? Okay, let's wait a little bit.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
No. Can you speak again, please?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Not too loud. You sound as if you were far, far, far away.
I think that I'm having problems. I don't know if my cell phone. Can you hear me?
Okay, now can you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, we have 2 minutes at your time. Then Dennis is coming. Is everything okay?
There's no problem. It's my fault because I was experimenting problems with, I don't know if it is my cell phone or it was Zoom, but I have difficulties to enter.
Okay, so, well, let's have patience. Don't worry about it. I understand. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. Also, I sent you the referral with the corrections you have made me, and also I don't know if I can send you more because I am doing more referral letters.
Okay, when did you send them to me?
Well, maybe tomorrow.
Okay, okay. As soon as
Yes.
you get them,
No.
send it to me for practicing. That's okay. There's no trouble.
Yes. Actually, today I'm just practicing the reading part and the speaking part.
Okay, so don't worry. As soon as you get the corrections, you can send it back to me, and then we can practice again. There is no trouble.
Okay.
On the other hand, today I
Mhm.
sent you a file to your WhatsApp.
Yes, that's a homework. That
Yes, this is the final part of the full exercise we are practicing about the case report and the referral, the full one that you have to write down by your own.
Mhm.
I forgot to send the deadline. The deadline is on Saturday midnight.
Okay.
Okay, please try to
Just
send it to me.
okay. I will. And I just don't remember. The final test is gonna be on 6, right?
Yes, on Tuesday.
Okay.
So the rest of the exercises, I'm gonna send it tonight because I'm finishing and I'm adding information to them. So
Okay.
I need to complete with all the presentations, including the one that is gonna be on Monday.
Okay. Well,
So
I hope I do
no,
well
no,
the test. But also I have my other test on 8.
you have lots of
Yeah.
tests this week.
Yeah,
So
and
these
the writing part on
exercises,
12. I
yes,
feel like I'm in on the university again.
well, it happens. It's a moment and a specific moment.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna send them tonight, and well, today, well, let's stay until Dennis comes, okay?
Okay.
Today we are supposed to talk about a protocol of how giving bad news.
Mhm.
Let me share the screen. Have you ever listened about it, the spikes?
No.
It's
No.
very useful in Europe specifically and United States because it's an organized way about giving news, and this acronym is showing you how to do it, how to prepare the place, how to start with the perception of the patient, how to start giving information and adding information, how to handle the emotions, and
Okay.
how to close that moment with the patient. Of course, a difficult one.
Okay. And well, I actually have a question. How do you make to when you have some difficult, reluctant patient to convince them to accept some kind of treatment, or people that are like well, for example, when some patient is waiting a lot for your assistance attendance, and how, because I understand you cannot you can say like sorry because I make you because you were waiting, but you cannot seem like accept that it's your fault because they can sue you, right?
Okay. For example, when I had that not comfortable situation when my patients were expecting extremely too much time,
Mhm.
I explained them about the triage, how we classify emergencies.
Oh.
All of my career, I've been working in emergency room. Actually, these 3 years,
Mhm.
I've been focused on emergency room and intensive care unit. That's why in that places, people can go with a flu or with
Yeah,
a
typically.
myocardial infarction or a
Mhm.
crash accident. It doesn't matter, right? Do you remember that?
Mhm.
We think that it's theoretical, but that's true. And the ones that make lots of troubles are the ones that are without importance. I mean, are in the green code.
Yeah.
That's why
But
I explain them when they get mad and try to find an order in the line. I tell them that it's easy. They are not dying. And when there is too much trouble, I let them get into the emergency room and look what is going on. And then they understand that they must wait because they are alive.
okay.
For example, if you are in your consulting room and there's an unexpected emergency, well, patients have that name, patients, because they have to understand that priorities come. In Europe, they have this culture. In America, we don't have this culture. So that's why it's easier to make them to understand than when somebody needs special attention from the doctor. Well, they just wait and don't make a mess. Hi, Alejandro.
Sorry, I cannot hear, sorry.
Okay. If you have to explain the situation about waiting time, can you listen to me? Maybe not so clear. Oops. Can you listen to me?
Doctor?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here. I send a message. I think you cannot listen to me.
Hello?
I'm here. Check your messages. Oops. Okay. Okay, let me write down. Maybe. Well, let me write down the answer. Well, trouble with the then the appointment. Mention Yes, the triage is the better way to do this. It is the best way to make them understand how nice the priorities for the patients in Europe. This classification is well understood. But no. And America. Not the same. It's helpful to tell them that they have to wait because of the classification. There is no other way to make understand how to organize the line between patients and how okay. That's a good bad news because for the cancer we have some protocols. See, the one I what speakers. Vision. Well, at least we have the chat and we can talk with this. and it's better.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
We have the chat and it's easier to work on this.
Mm. 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 Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hi, Luis. I'm almost finishing.
Mm.
Okay. Hi, Luis.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
It's nice to see you. I was in the chat with Alejandro because his device is without sound, so it was a way of talking using the chat. If you want, you can check this. It's nice. But there's no trouble. It's your time now.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Luis. Well, first of all, I send you a file to your WhatsApp, right, this afternoon. This is the complete exercise about the case report. Until, well, from the case report until the letter of referral. Please write it down until Saturday midnight, okay? I forgot to send the deadline to your WhatsApp.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, perfect. Do this exercise and everything is done with you, and I'm very proud about it. So don't forget, Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay. No problem.
Now, well, as you know, I was preparing this activity, and yesterday we had an important, well, I think a nice class because we got lots of information and expressions for the medical record, the medical history, right?
Yes.
And one of the most important topics, I think, was how giving bad news. Because when we are at college, at the medical school, we never got the opportunity to be prepared how to give a bad news to our patients or maybe colleagues. And
Yes.
we know it by the situation without any guideline. So we must understand that in Latin America, we had the trouble. In lots of schools, medical schools, we don't have the protocol about it. Even for colleagues, we don't have it, but it's used. It's very common in Europe and USA. So let me share the screen and let me show you what we are talking about.
It just I was going to ask giving bad news.
Yes, let's go to the topic. Yeah. So first of all, you can see there's a lot of information on the internet, lots of articles, texts, protocols that are preparing about it, that they teach us how to prepare that situation because it has to be a controlled moment. A situation that has to be under control from the doctor, not from the patient, of course, because patients are vulnerable. And we have to handle all of this in order for not missing information. So you can see there is a lot of ways, and there are, of course, more protocols. But the most practical, I think, and the one that I used always is the spikes. The spikes gives you the chance to be empathic and gives you the opportunity to organize everything, including the reaction of the patient. So according to this, I found this picture. When we developed these acronyms, and each letter has a meaning, of course. The S, the setting, is when we choose as a doctor, so we choose a private, comfortable, not threatening setting place. Not threatening means without people, without getting interrupted, and without listening, I don't know, or being with public, with the students maybe, who knows, or in the hall, or in a place that everybody can listen to. So that's why it's very important to use this kind of space. If you watch a movie or a medical serial, always when they give information, they are in a private place. Did you realize that? So when we realize that it's the best way, and we choose it correctly, the place, it's easier to start talking about the situation. About the P, the perception, we have the chance to listen the patient and his relatives, what they know about it and what they expect about the information they are going to receive. In that order, the perception is a very important topic to consider, because we have to listen how well or bad informed they are. We have to be clear that they are not personnel or medical professionals. Maybe they are, but we as a doctors, we can be so fatalist or we can misunderstood the situation, or we can change the information because, well, it's a human reaction, right? So when we understand the perception, and we understand how many information they have, we can make this invitation. This invitation is for establish a limit according to the information you are going to give. You get in accordance with the patient, not the relatives, with the patient until which point he wants to know and to talk. Of course, you as a doctor know that you cannot give all the information, right? You have to talk until it's possible, because there's no necessary to give extra information to the patient, information that can be misunderstood, right?
Yeah.
So while talking to the patient, you can tell him that the only thing you can do is wait, expect, and nothing is going to be wrong. So when you establish the limit, then you explain what is going on with the situation, with the disease. When they get your explanation, then you start about the options on care in plain language. I mean, in the language of the patient. It doesn't matter if it's, for example, a farmer without studies, an analphabetic person. You have to try to get on his level, on the patient's level, and explain everything in words they might understand until the point you decide it's necessary.
Yeah.
When patients receive this information, it's very common when they become emotional. I mean, can get mad, in a bad humor. They can make you guilty about it because they are in a moment of shock. They can start crying. They can be lost. They can feel lost. So it's not easy to see these reactions, but with empathy, with patience, well, we have the chance to give that support to the patient, and the patients feel comfortable with us and feel confidence. According to this confidence, we can manage these emotions and control the situation. Of course, you are not going to cry with the patient. It's not correct. You are not going to give, I don't know, a bad opinion about it. You are not breaking the rules about talking with the situation, but you have to be clear on what is going on ahead from the point you are establishing the information of the bad news. When the patient gets in control again, you have the chance to summarize and recap, make a resume of the information again, ensure that everything is done and the patient understood everything about the situation. And of course, according to the patient opportunities and desires, you decide what's the next step to follow, right?
Okay.
So when you get in this accordance, you notice that your patient's mood changes, that everything changes in the relationship between you and your patient. In that order, it's easier to work, easier to go ahead. And of course, you have the control of the whole situation. And the patient, in order trusting you, is going to make everything you need. Right. Have you ever listened about this protocol before?
No, never.
Yes. In class, everybody told me that that's the first time you hear about protocols like this. But we must understand that in Europe and USA, well, some places, not all over USA, but lots of places in Europe, they use this kind of organization while talking to keep on control, to manage the situation and not being or maybe avoiding loyal troubles. It's very, very important to get any information about it.
I think we can use this guideline when the familiar has dead.
Yes, of course.
Right.
If you are
Or
giving the bad news that the relative is dead, you have to be in control of the situation. You have to get limits, to establish limits while talking. And this is a good way of talking. I tell you by experience, when I was working at the intensive care unit and in the emergency room, this is practical, it's faster. It depends on you how this moment lasts, not patient.
yeah,
That's why you as a doctor have the chance to be in control, to take all of this information and manage the situation in an optimal way.
okay. I like that.
So while finishing, I have 1, 2, 3 more students according to the schedule, 3, but I don't know if the 4th one is going to attend, but it doesn't matter. While finishing the workshop, I'm gonna send this chart to the group
Okay.
for keeping it in mind and practicing.
Yeah.
That's why study this, practice on this, and make a difference. Use this protocol for you. It's for you, and new data for being better.
Yeah. Thank you, teacher.
So it's our last workshop, please. Let
Yes.
me congrats to you. Thanks for your interest on the course and everything. You are one of the best students. Thanks for everything.
Thank you to you.
No,
For everything.
it's your effort that it's making a result. Never change this way of working. It's nice and it's glad to work with you, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
So don't forget the homework and see you Monday in the last theoretical class, okay?
Okay. See you, teacher.
Okay, see you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Hi, Ivana. How are you?
Hi, friend.
Hi, my
Hi,
friend.
fine.
Yes, you cut your hair.
Good evening.
Well, that's great. Well, my dear Ivana, today in our last workshop, we have some information to recap. First of all, the
Okay.
homework that we were on the chat, and well, you got the deadline earlier. Yeah, that's perfect. So the material I'm preparing for tonight. Ivana, can you listen to me?
Yes, my video is freezing.
Yeah,
no?
well, the screen is frozen, but well, if you want, you can turn off your video in order to get the information from the screen. I'm gonna share the screen, okay?
Okay. Okay. Yes, I am listening.
Perfect. Well, yesterday we have a class when we were talking about bad news, right? I think that was one of the most important parts because during the college, the med school, we don't have the chance to be clearly prepared how to do this. We don't have the opportunity to be into studies, or maybe being taught by protocols that show us how to manage the situation, how to take control of this and be completely clear, right?
Yes.
So in that order, today I prepared the workshop showing you one of the most common and easiest protocols that we have. And it's ruled all around the world, of course. It's the SPIKES protocol. Have you ever listened about it?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Perfect. That's a good point for starting, for catching the idea that, well,
Okay.
we have a protocol, and in Latin America in general, at any place, we have the opportunity to be in contact with this. That's why we learned during the activity or during the practice how to talk about lots of difficult situations, maybe death, maybe diseases that are without a cure or without a treatment. And it's hard because it's not the correct way to do it. Patients react in a wrong way. But according to lots of studies and protocols, following the steps, you take in control the situation, you handle this, and it's easier to make. The spikes is one of the easiest one, the commonest one. And of course, it's helpful. That's why in personal, I use this way of talking with patients, because you decide how much it's gonna last, and you decide how it's going on. I mean, first of all, you have to
Yes.
to choose the private place, comfortable place, not threatening place or setting. I mean, a place where you and your patients or relatives patients or the family patients can be together without any interruption. Okay? Without a nurse that is going to ask you something, without the students that are looking for you. A place when you can be quiet, relaxed, and talk about a difficult situation. Very important, because patients feel that their privacy is respected and you are considering their feelings. As you get in the private place, you start talking with the patient. At the beginning, you let the patient tell you everything, the perception, tell you everything, how they understand or they get into interpretation about the situation they are living. I mean, for example, in a cancer, you ask for a patient how they feel, how they understand what's going on, what they expect about the situation, what they expect about the treatment, or maybe if they had idea about the diagnosis, what they really think. They get open mind, they get sincere with you, and they start telling you everything about it. When they finish, you have to establish limits. Limits with the patient, not the relatives. With the patient, making an invitation could be when you together decide until which point the patient would like to know about the situation. I mean, you give a general approach of this, and usually patients tell you, you decide until which part is better to talk with me. When you get in that control, you start giving knowledge. You start your explanation about the disease and the care options. Relaxed, private, giving information according to the language of the patient in plain language, without missing or mixing information, in order to be organized. Why organized? Because when patients get a bad news in general, they get mad. They run mad, maybe start crying, maybe start yelling, maybe start, I don't know, run mad. I don't know. Everything could happen at that moment. But if you are being sincere and empathic, they can get in control easier because they are watching empathy in you, and you have the option to be in contact, in real contact with your patient, and getting confidence in order to handle this situation, because they are trusting on you in order you are giving bad news. When patient gets in control and you are again in control of the situation, we must summarize, make a recap about all the information, correcting mistakes, I mean, being clear on the information you are giving, respecting the limits you decided together, And then you couple decide what's the next step. I mean, what's the next you are going to do on treatment, maybe palliative care, maybe not following treatment. It depends on you. Following this, I tell you by experience, it's easier to talk with patients and easiest to establish how to handle any situation. Right?
Okay.
It's not the same to give a bad news in the hall with lots of people walking around that giving a bad news in a private place. I tell you by experience, well, by my own experience, when I received one of the worst news in my personnel, I would like to be in private, not in the hall of the hospital when everybody watched my reaction. That was not the best.
Oh,
But
okay.
well, there is no way to know it if you never hear about this protocol. So I understood the colleague that actually is one of my best friends, but I would like to be in a private place in that moment. So that's why it's important to take it into consideration. Okay.
Yes, it's a consideration important.
Yes. Have you ever received a bad news?
Receive
Yes, bad news. Have
bad
you ever-
news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Uh,
been in the shoes of the patient?
in the shoes of the patient.
Yes, in the place of the patient. So have you ever been the patient, I mean, and the doctor
And the
give
patient.
bad news? Yeah. Have you ever
No.
were in that position to be a patient and receive a bad news? If it is not well handled, everything can happen, including, I tell you, running mad, running crazy, losing control about the situation. That's why it's important to consider this kind of protocol. That is for
Yeah.
us for medical purposes, but it's useful in lots of situations. I tell you, when I was working in the emergency room and in the intensive care unit, that was the best way of start the contact with relatives and the patient too, and maybe break all the imagination they are creating when they hear about these units. Get mad. Well, you become in the real situation with patients and relatives, and they understand and accept all the consequences and everything happening at the moment. That's why it's important to consider this. And well, I'd like you to show you to the group because, well, getting this information, this way of talking might be a better way to start a change, I think.
This is important.
Very, very important. So at the end of the workshop, in 45 minutes, I think, I'm going to send it to the group, okay? And it's going to be useful.
Okay.
So you're going to have a small detail how to start studying about these protocols, because spikes is one protocol, but we have lots of them. ABCD is another one, but I don't like it. I prefer the spikes. With the spikes, it's easier to work, easy to memorize too, and not miss the order of everything you have to do.
Yes.
Okay, any question until this point?
No, I don't have questions.
Okay, so about the file I sent to your WhatsApp, don't forget this is until Saturday midnight, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and the next file I'm gonna send, it's gonna be, I hope I finish with 2-3 topics more tonight. And as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna send the quizzes and assignments in order to practice to the final test.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thanks to you. You have perfect attendance. Yes, perfect. Yes, without absences, I think you are one. Just 3 students have this record.
Okay.
You are one of the 3 ones. Thank you so much.
Yes.
No, 2, just 2 students. Haha. Yes, just 2 students. The rest of the people have from 1 absence to 3 or more. So thank you. You couple got the perfect punctuation on attendance.
Thank you.
No, thanks to you. Thanks for your attendance. This is our last workshop. The last chance for talking, I think, for having a moment
This
together.
is the last workshop.
Yes, this is the last one. On Monday, we have the last theoretical class,
Ah,
and Tuesday is the final test. According to the final test, we finish everything.
everything this month. In this month.
Well, we finished this course. The module 2 is all, it's covered.
Oh.
And the course is done. I think everything is done at this point.
Okay.
Yes, thanks for your interest in this.
Thank you.
It encourages a lot.
Thank you, Iris.
Thanks to you, Ivana. And I like your hard
I don't
work.
know what I don't know what to say. I appreciate your learning, your teaching.
Oh, thank you so much. I made my best effort. I like it. It's nice to you.
This course helped me to read in English. I am reading in English, medical English.
Perfect. That's objective, to improve and get a better
It's
professional.
difficult. For me, it's more difficult to talk in English than reading in English.
Yes, it's harder to talk.
Yeah.
But you are doing it better every
But
class.
I understand everything that you say.
Oh, thank you. Perfect. Keep on practicing. Don't miss this rhythm. You are doing a great job, Ivana. It's nice, very nice to work with you. Certainly, as I was telling you, you're one of the best students, the same as Luis, and go ahead, never miss and lose this way of working. You have a huge way to go away, to keep on studying and maybe in the future teaching. So get us as the best and make your best every time. You have a great future becoming.
Thank you. I want the future.
Yes.
I want it.
You're going to catch success. Remind this.
Thank you. And see you Monday then.
Yes, my dear. See you Monday in the last class. Have a nice night. Have a nice weekend. Keep on studying, please. And that's
have
all.
a nice night. And okay, see you Monday. Goodbye.
See you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Well, until this point, my kids are now with my mom and with my child, my big son. So there's no trouble. No more yells. Perfect. But until this point, I'm expecting Natalia Ramayo and maybe Dr. Roger Condemaite, because, well, I know that Dr. Roger is traveling, but I'm not sure if he's going to attend. So let's wait a little bit. And Natalia might come in a few minutes. So let's wait. Let's wait a little bit. And I'll be back when they come in too. Bye-bye. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Well, it's 10 and 2. Now it's supposed to be the moment of Natalia Armayo, but I'm not sure if she's attending because she's at the university. So let's wait a little bit. She might come here, but if she doesn't, well, it's clear. Let's wait a little bit. She might come. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, perfect. She's here. Hi, Natalia. Hi.
Hi, teacher. Good night. Hi, miss.
Hi, how are you? I got a flu again, so I sound gangosa.
Oh, what, miss?
No, I got the flu again. I tell you, it's very cold.
Really? You have to
Yes,
take
so
care of me.
I sound very strange. I sound gangosa.
Teacher. I hope you get better. Sorry, teacher.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, until this point, this is our last workshop, and well, it's kind of different moment for talking, but well, everything comes and goes, right?
Yes, miss.
So yesterday you were not in class, but I hope you would have the chance to check the slides or maybe watch the video on YouTube.
Okay, teacher. Yes.
Okay, according to that information, yesterday we were talking in the second part of taking the history details, I mean, and one of the most important topics, I think, is how to give bad news.
Okay.
I sent some expressions, very useful expressions that are prepared for making an easy moment, I think, for talking.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to give you that idea. In that way, yesterday I told everybody that today we were supposed to talk about some protocols, some rules.
Okay.
About how to give this information.
Okay, teacher.
So, yes, can you watch my screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is a website. When we start this information, we start this workshop. So we must understand that around the world, in lots of countries, especially in Europe and some places in USA, we have these protocols established.
Okay.
We have a way of talking, a way of organizing, and we have the opportunity to get the information for talking in a correct way. This protocol spikes, in my personal opinion, is useful, easy to understand, easy to memorize, and easy to follow by steps. That's why I decided to show to the group and make it a better experience, I think, for learning about it. Have you ever listened about it?
No, miss. I've never listened.
Yes, about this kind of information, maybe.
Yes, no.
Well, considering you are on the third year, you are still in college, in the medical school, it's important to get related with this kind of information and ways of talking.
Yes.
That's why we have to understand that if we organize the way we start talking with our patients, no matter the year or the moment you are at the career, you have a goal done and you have the opportunity to be clear, I think.
Okay.
And to get under control with all of the situation. That's why this acronym SPIKES is giving us the first approach to difficult situations.
Okay.
At the beginning, you have to set the place. You decide where to talk, and you must choose a private, comfortable, and not threatening setting. I mean, not a place where everybody can walk ahead or cross the room or can interrupt you while talking.
Okay.
because it's important for the patient to feel that all of your attention is with him at that moment, that difficult moment, right?
Yeah.
So in that way, if you choose the correct place and you have the respect for everybody that you are there talking, you have a huge step gained for you for avoiding difficult situations. When you get in this place, you start with the perception. In the
Okay.
perception, you let patient and relatives and family to talk about, to express their ideas, their feelings, the information they have in order to get in conclusion about what is going on. I mean, you give them the chance to tell you everything about the thing that is happening. Maybe it's correct, maybe they are in a mistake, who knows? But they need that moment to give you all the activities, all the idea they have.
Okay.
When they finish, you make an invitation. An invitation is easier. You ask the patient until which point they would like to know about the situation.
Okay.
You just tell him that, for example, I'm sorry, for example, that it's a very difficult situation while talking about a cancer, for example.
Mhm.
And you start giving a general approach, and you tell him that you can talk about the clinical condition, the response of the treatment, the new options in treatment, or maybe all the alternatives we have. And they
Okay.
usually choose which part they want to start or when they want to stop. So we
Okay.
have to be open-minded, to be careful what we said. And as doctors, we know we cannot give all the full, complete information, right? We have
Yeah.
to, we know that we have a limit for talking, but it's better if you get in accordance, in control, and you get clear with the patient until which point you are going to talk.
Okay.
When the patient is clear with this, you start explaining the disease at the beginning, the clinical situation.
Okay.
Patient might understand because you are in a plain language, you are talking like him in the same level as him.
Yes, miss.
And then you give care options. With the care options, you talk about treatment, maybe palliative care, maybe surgical treatment, chemotherapy, I don't know, oral therapy, many options that we have at the moment.
Okay.
And according this information and the way you give this, all the patients show emotions. All the patients, well, start or crying maybe, or who knows, get mad, or who knows, start in shock. So you have to be respectful, you have to be on the patient's shoes, you have to respond with empathy, and according to this,
Okay.
waiting the time that the patient needs, you have the chance to be confident, to become more than a doctor, a friend, and stay there for all the necessity the patient has at the moment. Maybe
Okay.
the patient starts asking again and trying to understand, just answer with the truth until the point you consider necessary.
Okay.
When the patient gets relaxed, starts catching the ideas, you have the chance to summarize. When you summarize, you make a recap about all the information you just sent, you just told him,
Yes.
and about it, you can get in contact again and together decide what's the next step. You cannot enforce the patient to do something that it's not available for him, or
Yes.
maybe with something that the patient is not in expectation.
Yes, miss.
So when you got the recap and decide the limits, you notice the difference while being with your patient. And it's very important to get these limits well established, for not missing the north of the situation and not missing the control of everything.
Yes.
So until this point, did you understand this management? It's an approach just because while practicing, you can do it, you can get all of these steps well done. And you're in a good moment because you're at the college. And through the years, you get in experience and make all of these steps by memory.
Yes, yes, miss.
So it's very nice. You notice it's different when you receive a bad news on the hall of the hospital, for example, or even in a private room, right?
Yes.
Have you ever received a bad news?
Yes, miss.
So in
Yes.
that situation, did you have the chance to feel or to be treated like this, following a protocol, following steps well established, or maybe not?
I think not at all like this, miss. I think this is better, a better way of talking.
It's a good way, a good change to show, right?
Yes.
In that
Yes,
order, if you receive all of this information well organized in a controlled place,
yes,
you as a patient get perceptive. You don't start in a shock and don't run mad. I mean,
yes,
don't mix the information.
yes, miss.
So try to use this.
Okay,
It's for
thank you.
you. Yeah,
Yes.
actually, it's not an objective of the course, but I decided to show you in order to improve,
Yes.
to be better every day, and show that a difference can be done. And
Yes,
now it's the best moment for you because you are still in the career.
yes,
If you watch your professors, maybe your doctors, they don't use this. Actually, because they don't have the information.
yes, miss.
Maybe it's not their mistake. Because as you know, I studied in Cuba. And in Cuba, we have the information about it. In my school, we have lots of information that we don't have in Bolivia.
Yes.
We have different ways of communication with patients, with students, with colleagues. And well, when I came back, I noticed that difference and I got in shock because in Cuba, there's no way for treating in a bad way a student, for example. If you make a mistake, you receive your punishment in private, not in public like here.
Oh, wow.
If you're a victim of bullying or mobbing at the hospital, you can go to talk to the superior. You have to be sure that a solution is going to be done. But in our country, we don't have the chance.
Yes,
It's
miss.
completely different. And that's why we have to try to show that something can be done in a different way. Maybe here's stressful, but we have to be sincere. In Bolivia, we don't have enough resources.
Yes.
Medical resources are not important for governance. But well, that's a reality we know. But that's not a reason for treating bad the rest of the people. You have to be clear on that.
Yes, miss. It's important, I think.
Yeah, so consider this protocol, maybe not just for patients, maybe for giving any bad news. You're going to see the difference. It's not the same to talk about it, as I was telling you, in public than in a private place. And even though you as a doctor or as the one that is giving the bad news, you feel better by talking in that way. Just managing the information that is necessary to do, right?
Okay, yes.
Well,
Yes,
dear,
miss.
today is our last workshop.
Oh, teacher, that's sad.
Well, it happens. At least we had the chance to stay together until the end. Yeah.
Yes, miss.
And keep on working.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks to you for your interest, for working, for your attendance, for feeling the pulse. It's important.
Yes, me. No, thank
And
you so
I know you are rushing from the university at night for for becoming to the workshop.
Yes.
And that's very important. Thanks for everything, Natalia. And go ahead, never miss this way of working, okay?
Thank you, Miss. Thank you for everything, for your patience and your effort teaching us, Miss. It will be helpful in the future. And
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you. I will miss you.
I'm here, everything. You have my cell phone. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
privilege. I don't send my cell phone to everybody.
Oh, yes, Miss. No, thank you so much. Thank you,
So,
Miss.
dear, I'm gonna send the final homework, the one in order to practice tonight. I'm
Yes.
almost finishing this. It's not too long. I've been choosing the exercises for practicing, taking care, and avoiding information that is not necessarily.
Yes.
And the deadline is gonna be Monday midnight, okay?
Okay, Miss.
So
Okay.
practice on them, and Monday we have our last theoretical class.
Yes. Okay, Miss.
So
Okay,
keep
Miss.
on
Thank
studying,
you.
keep on reading. You are on third year, in my opinion, one of the best moments in the career, the whole career.
Yes.
Internal medicine is amazing. Everybody says that it's awful, but no, it's the basis of the medical career.
Yes.
Take the best of this, and you can do it. You are done for this. Never,
Thank
never get in doubt about it.
Thank you,
You're
Miss.
done for becoming a doctor, and that's for
Yes.
you. Nobody is in the place that you are because that place is for you. Never forget this.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you so much for your words. Thank you, Miss.
No,
Take
thanks to you.
Take care, Miss. I hope you feel better of your flu.
Thank you so much. I need to be better. It's not easy to stay with children in this situation.
Yes, Miss.
So thanks for
See
everything, my dear, and don't worry. See you Monday, okay?
you on Monday. Thank you so much, Miss. Have a good night.
Have a good
See you.
night. Have a nice weekend too. Bye bye. Well, until this point, Natalia came, and that's perfect. Now let's wait. Let's wait 2 minutes more to Dr. Condemite. I don't know if he's attending, but well, it could be better. Let me check the WhatsApp because he's on traveling. He went to another country for his personal activity. And well, I hope he can come because, well, he's a good friend. So let's see. Okay, he received the message. So he received the message, and that's the good point for talking, for being clear about it. And well, I hope he can get into. If it's not possible, there's no trouble. I know he's in India. So let's wait 5 minutes. If he cannot, there's no trouble for me. He's with the correct license. So let's wait a little bit. I'll be back. So let's wait. Well, it's almost the finish of the workshop, so let's wait a little bit. And I'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, I think the workshop is over because I have no answer from Dr. Konemaita. Oh, well, he watched my messages. Well, he doesn't say anything. He can't come to the workshop, but well, let's wait 2 minutes more and then everything is gonna be done. The rest of the people is out. I think the rest of the people drop and that's enough for me. So, so he's with license, I mean, maybe, well, don't worry. I'm gonna expect homework and that's enough. So see you, that's all. I finished the workshop. Goodbye and have a great weekend. See you Monday with the last theoretical class.